morning, Max. I'm doing beautifully today. I've been waiting for over a week to know what's happening in your world again. And looking at your face, something did happen, right? What's happening with you? Tell me.
Well, the facial hair grew. The COVID beard. It may be a permanent thing. I haven't decided just yet, but
Fits you perfectly.
I got over it being gray. That took a long time. It took a decade, but I'm finally like, all right, it is what it is, and I think I can live with it. And I have a story. It's actually not my personal story. It's a friend of mine, and it's definitely one to put some gray hair on a face.
Okay.
And it's one that you, having spent time in Hong Kong, I think you'll be able to relate to this in some ways. It's actually about Singapore and a U.S. expat in Singapore. But I think you'll see some parallels here. So I think it'll be a good story for us to discuss. Friend of mine ran sales in Asia for a company we both used to work for. And when he was doing that, he was headquartered in Singapore. So he would be over there. I don't remember, maybe the family was there for a while, but at this point in that job, the family was home and he was living over in Singapore, or he was going to Singapore the majority of the time. It came to be his 25th wedding anniversary, and he wanted to do something really special for his wife. So I guess Singapore is a great place for jewelry. And he found this awesome jeweler, and, was just big splurge, piece of jewelry for his wife for their anniversary. And having been over there a while, he knew that if he wasn't careful, he would buy this and the security would say, oh my gosh, big purchase in Singapore, and flag it. And it was a joint card with his wife. And if it got flagged, his wife was going to find out. So he, first of all, before he left, he let the credit card company know, I'm going to be in Singapore, expect charges in Singapore, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. He then called the company and said, I'm about to make this transaction. I want you to know about it. Flag it. I need to know. Here's the situation. I don't want my wife to know, etc. And just apparently the most. Oh my gosh! This is a congratulations, sir, on your anniversary. This is so great. Yes, we have it marked in the system. There is no way this call is gonna happen. You are gonna be great.
I'm wondering where this is going.
Yeah, this is not exactly a big mystery what the punchline is here. So he goes, he makes the purchase. The next day, he gets a call from his wife going, what have you done? So, surprise, completely ruined. They called the wife. And I get the security importance, and I had I think we talked about it. I had a recent where they caught some stuff for me, and God love them, but this was just an epic fail. So it's a really simple story with a kind of a easily telegraphed punchline, but one of the things we always see over and over is there's just communication breaks down internally in a company, and it ends up biting the customer, and this, to me, at least, is a classic example of that, where the people doing the security, or the people, the customer service people, security was either didn't get the memo, or the memo didn't get created, or who knows what. What do you see here? How could we help this poor friend of mine?
All right. Well, many elements here. First one on his side. Next time, don't buy in Singapore, buy in Macau. So that if your wife gets called, you can always blame the casino for, gambling too much and losing some money there.
Okay, there. Good. I like that.
Right? you still get in the fight, but at least you have the perfect excuse to keep the surprise a while longer.
Yeah,
Even though
just make sure that you're giving her the jewelry very, very quickly after that.
because you might file for divorce before you have a chance to offer your
Yeah,
gift.
yeah, you'll have to
That's
visit
right.
her at her parents' house to give it to her, but
Now, that being said, I see many small problems. The first one is about empowerment. As a
yeah,
sales rep or an agent, your job should be to say either, I don't think it's possible, or at the very least, I'm not sure. Don't make promises you can't keep, especially when it's so dear to your customer. Plus, considering the amount of money you probably spend for buying jewelry, you can expect it's a pretty good customer for that bank. So they better satisfy him
yeah,
in some way.
yeah.
Because he was not buying peanuts on the market, right? He was actually buying diamonds. So at some point, that's a good customer. They should raise some flags at some point. Now, the agent should be entitled to say, sorry, sir, the process is made in such a way we can't do anything about it. Or, honestly, I have no idea how this works. I'm afraid that's going to raise a flag. In which case, the best follow-up for the agent would be, let me think what we could do about this. What about you take some cash from the distributor? What about, we spread it on several payments? What about,
Right,
you could
right.
come up with suggestions, but don't make a promise unless you're sure you're going to be able to deliver. And when it's so critical, I mean, it's not life threatening, but I mean, you probably celebrate your 25th marriage anniversary only once in your life, or you married the first time very young. Um,
And both were
that
successful.
and they were both very successful. That's an important date. You can't screw it up. So when the customer is genuine about it and giving you the whole story, don't make promises you can't keep. That is terrible.
It's interesting. You interpreted this a little differently than I did. Um, I When I heard this story, I assumed that the agent really thought he or she could do that, and that then the system broke down and didn't do it. But I really like your point of put the responsibility. No, the responsibility should be on the agent. We always talk about empathetic, empowered agents and all of that, and part of that is responsibility to say, okay, if I flag this on the account, is that something security people are even going to see? Because you're right. It may be this person just kind of say, yeah, sure, that'll work. Why not? And didn't bother to look into it. I think that's a really good point.
And empowerment and responsibility is important. I mean, we both come from the marketing world, right? So let's think about it. You start using some automation tools, and the first time you set it up, we've all done this once. You send an email to your entire database with a dear first name, last name, right? We've all done that. That looks
Yeah,
terrible,
yeah,
or is a mismatching, and you can either blame the technology and say, well, it did not work, or you can actually take your responsibility. And by the way, that happened not too long ago, a few years ago, where I actually went to each customer or prospect, I don't remember what was the context, one by one, telling them, look, I'm sorry, that really doesn't reflect too good on us, but that's what happened. We tried, we made a mistake, and I think people understand when you make a mistake. But if you promise something, don't just promise it and leave notes somewhere in the system and consider not my job anymore. Someone else is going to follow up.
right,
Follow
right.
through with it, especially when it's that important. I had a similar issue in Greece last year, I believe, 2 years ago, where the bank promised. I told them I'm going to Greece, so I want my credit card to work. No problem. We've taken notes of it. You bet. 1 hour after landing, I go to a restaurant, want to pay my meal. They block my credit card because, hey, you're paying from Greece, but you live in France. Guys, I told you. So take responsibilities. I think that's very important. Empowerment is key to a lot of these topics we're covering.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I feel better for my friend.
You do?
I'll pass this word on that it was the agent's fault, and I'm sure that'll make a big difference. I can report happily that the marriage survived. Well, I mean, it's not like that wasn't good news for his wife to find out he did buy her some really nice jewelry. It just, he lost the element of surprise, which sucked.
That was a gift on his side, the gift to himself, being able to surprise her. So he missed that
Yeah,
part.
well
Well,
said.
he'll be more careful next time, and he'll probably take my word for it and go to Macau and
Yeah,
there's some
well,
other.
actually, the beauty of that is then you only need to take out 1/10 of what you're going to spend, win big, and use the winnings to buy the jewelry. Then you don't even have to worry about it.
Exactly. That's actually how I bought my first building, by just earning millions and millions in casino. But that's
right.
a topic for another story,
Yeah,
I guess.
next time you're in the States, we're going to Vegas.
Thank you so much, Max. I hope you feel much better about it. I hope your friend will. And I guess we talk again next week with a new story.
That's great. Thanks, Julien. Talk to you then.
Okay, bye.